1. We are live. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you all so much for being here. Really appreciate it. Anybody that's coming in at this time, thanks so much. Take time out of your day. Anybody watching this on the replay, thanks so much. Really appreciate you. And as always, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. You guys know how this works. Jake, what's going on? How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
How was
Especially now that
how was your Halloween?
it was good.
Since
It
we
was
didn't
good.
do a live stream on Halloween.
It was good.
Yeah,
Relaxing. Definitely ate some candy.
that's right, dude. I know, like the beauty of having an army of kids is that like all the candy that they got, I could just pick at the candy all day. It's just I have to
Yeah.
like control myself. Like you have to like lock it away. It's just rough, but
Yeah.
yeah. Between our last live stream, because we did miss Monday, but you were gracious enough to get some clips up with. We appreciate it. So anybody that were like, oh, you should have done a stream on Monday. It was Halloween. Wanted to take the day off. I got kids. It's got a life. Figured why not take the day off. But he did get you guys a clip up there too, right? I think you got two up
Yeah.
there, right?
Yep.
So nice to get clips. We're back at it again today, and we'll get back into the usual rhythm and swing of things. But we've had a lot of news. The Nets are completely imploding right now as we speak, which is something that I've been saying, I've been preaching. Now, of course, this doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to end up trading Kyrie or anything like that, but it's looking more and more likely. They just fired Steve Nash, which, not a big deal. It was kind of something that's expected. Coach is usually the first one fired anyway when you're trying to
I'm
retool.
upset by that. I don't like that.
I don't like it either. I don't think – I mean, a lot of people feel like he didn't really get a fair shake. Look, I don't think he was like, Phil Jackson out there as a coach, but I mean, the problem is they didn't give him a lot of power. They gave Kyrie and KD so much power. From day one, all the conversation about how we don't need a coach and blah, blah, blah. Like, how does that feel,
Yeah.
Steve Nash? Steve Nash said he lost, like the guys aren't responding to him in the locker room. And it's like, what do you expect? You knew that was going to happen because Kevin Durant told you he wanted Steve Nash fired. And he decided not to fire him in the offseason when you should have fired him if you were going to fire him in the offseason. What did you think was going to happen? Everyone's going to come back and everything kumbaya? Like Sean Marks and Joe Tsai are just, I don't know. Like they don't have the thinking caps on or something because it's just, or they love it. As much as they try to say like they want the conversation to be about basketball and they want all of their actions show otherwise. They're literally talking about hiring Ime Udoka, who I think is a great head coach. Don't get me wrong, nothing against him coaching, but he is coming off of some serious allegations, which if you don't know what I'm talking about, look it up. YouTube. We can't get too heavy into it just because it is pretty, I mean, from what we've heard, it was pretty bad. Started out as hey, mutual relationship, however you feel about the morals of, him having a fiance, which is Nia Long, by the way, my childhood.
Yeah.
Nia, like, how do you?
I know. When I heard the name Nia Long, I was like, wait, this takes me back in the day. Wait, what?
He must not listen to J. Cole.
You know what's so funny? All right, so about I think a week after this happened, I was just jamming casually, but that song came on, the J. Cole song came on, with that line, I was like,
my biggest regret was to Nia Long.
Yeah. And I was like,
yeah, like I love that, but shout out to J. Cole, man. But
right.
Yeah, so anyway, however you feel about the morality of it, whatever, it's his personal life. If it's mutual, I don't have a problem with it. But then we got all the reports that, hey, it wasn't mutual. Well, with her, with the original girl was.
Well, yeah,
but
exactly.
There were multiple people that he was harassing and
the owners or the president's. I think the president's wife or something like that. Yeah.
It was it became a whole thing. Even people that stuck up for him in the beginning, like Matt Barnes. He was a huge advocate for him in the beginning. And then Matt Barnes came out. He was like, I was so wrong. He was like, I found out what really happened behind the scenes, and it is much worse than what everybody knows. And this is a guy that
details. They won't release the details. I'm sure we'll find out eventually, but
yeah, but I mean, I don't blame them. They just wanted this to be done and over with. They suspended him for a year, hoping that he would just, that all of this would brush over. They could let him go, all that stuff. I mean, and now all the talks are that the Nets want him, and the Celtics. This is a coach that just led this team to the NBA Finals in his first year, and the Celtics are willing to just say, "Here, go ahead, take him. You want him? Sure." Usually, teams have to trade. Like when the Clippers got Doc Rivers, for example, they had to trade for him. They had to send a first-round draft pick to the Boston Celtics to go get Doc Rivers. Like, so it's like usually when a coach is under contract, it's a trade just like a player. And they didn't end up doing. They're willing to just let him walk, obviously for a reason. And the reason I say that this goes into the whole, like, obviously these guys like the drama, like the attention, is because going through all this controversy with Kyrie and him posting that book and movie and whatever, I'm not familiar with the book or the movie, so I can't really speak on it. But whatever it is, he posted that, all that drama, all that attention, negative attention. You already have the whole offseason that was an absolute disaster. It's just you have just one shitstorm after another, and now you're gonna go hire Ime Udoka to come in as your head coach. And what do you think the conversation is gonna be? Because he hasn't addressed any of it. He hasn't talked about any of it.
Well, no, and he's added like controversy at that point when he comes to the organization. Talk's not gonna be about basketball. It's gonna be about his personal life and his actually not so personal now, but his decisions he chose to make, like surrounding on and off the court. Now, I do think, though, they're looking at it as like, hey, we want to win regardless of the controversy. But I think when you have too much controversy surrounding that organization, like you said, it's already too much. Like Kyrie, and not to mention, Kyrie happened to, by him doing that, he messed up a lot of relationships. So he's affecting the revenue of the organization now. So like, I mean, the front row, like, the seat holders that are the front row, there's so many of them that like he directly like offended, and so it's a mess. It's
a mess. And like, look, like, here's the thing. At the end of the day, like, obviously, winning basketball games solves a lot, right? Like, if Ime Udoka comes in, they'll deal with the little headache. If they win the championship, by championship time, no one will care. It's just how the world works. You see it all the time with athletes and organizations and stuff like that. Winning cures all. But here's the problem.
It's gonna be like you're gonna forget about it. Or a lot of people are gonna forget about it if they win.
Because it'll be in the rearview mirror at that point. But not just that. The problem is that, like, I still think it's too late. Like, even Udoka, because look, they fired Steve Nash, and the Nets played just as bad that day. Like, usually when you fire a coach, the team rallies together and they get that win to show, the coach was the problem. It happens almost every time. And you know what happened? Nothing. And it showed exactly what all the problem is. Steve Nash wasn't the reason that they can't play defense. It wasn't the reason that they don't have
he's not a scrub. You know what I mean? Like, he's not a scrub coach. He's just, the thing is, it's his first job as a head coach. You know what I mean?
And your first job, thrown into a shitstorm.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You have a headstrong Kyrie. You have a Kevin Durant, but I feel like Kevin Durant is feeding off of what Kyrie, like his vibe right now.
Kevin Durant doesn't want to be there. That's the problem.
Yeah, and there's that too. So I'm like, you kind of got thrown into, like, you know what I mean? You didn't really. It's not like Steve Kerr where he walked into like hey, we're on our way to the championship. Everybody's bought into the culture. You know what I mean? Like when Mark Jackson left the Warriors and like Steve Kerr had to come in. So it's not like that type of a situation. So I don't really agree with putting a lot of the blame on Steve Nash. I get it. Like, some of his like defensive philosophies and his schemes weren't necessarily the best for the team. But the thing is, again, first year as a head coach, you got to give him time to develop. You know what I mean? I don't know if I think he will get definitely another coaching job if he hasn't already.
I think he will sooner or later. What'll probably happen? He'll probably get an assistant job somewhere and then work his way back up, and then somebody will give him a shot again.
I don't think he's a bad coach. He's not like
a lot of people have came to his defense.
Ellis or
a lot of people have came to, even Steve Kerr was like, he's a really good coach. Steve Kerr was like, I couldn't even have fixed that situation because people don't understand how bad the situation is in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like that. You think Steve Nash was upset that he got let go? Hell no. That dude was probably popping bottles in the locker room. Yeah, let's go. Like, that was probably the happiest he's been in so long. And the reason I say I think it's
he exploded the other night on the sideline. Did you see that?
Yeah. Yeah, because
he lost his mind. Like, I was like, "Hey, Steve Nash, the player is back."
It's just the thing.
That was him on the court, but
it gets toxic after. Like, how long can you deal with it? You have an entire locker room that doesn't want you. You have all this headache, all this time. It's a mess. And like, the thing is that like even Ime Udoka, even if he comes in, he's not gonna. He'll be able to fix some stuff. He'll be able to get people to buy in, all that stuff. But one, you're gonna have to deal with the controversy that comes with that, and however long that lasts. Maybe it's quick and it's like a week or whatever, and then you move on, or it's the entirety of the season, like we're gonna see with like we seen with Kyrie and KD. The problem is that no coach is gonna fix Kevin Durant wanting to get out of there, Kyrie Irving being Kyrie Irving, guys not being able to play defense because we don't have any defensive guys, Ben Simmons basically becoming a shell of himself, not being able to rebound. Like, no coach is going to be able to fix the Brooklyn Nets issues. Maybe some of them. And the biggest problem is they don't have time. Like, the thing is that, like, so for the Lakers, for example, right?
Yeah.
The Lakers, they have LeBron James, Anthony Davis for the next, like, 2-3 years. So they have time to try to get it right to win a championship or two, right? You got Darvin Ham. He's your coach for the next, 3-4 years. You got, you got your structure in place. Problem is that they bring in Ime Udoka. Kyrie Irving's still leaving. So you still probably going to have to trade Kyrie Irving. If you trade Kyrie Irving, is Kevin Durant going to want to stay there? Like, the problem is you don't have the time. You don't have the time to wait around to try to build a foundation with Ime Udoka coming in, and he's changing the scope of things, and he's, molding this team into the way he wants it to mold. By the time he figures it out, everybody's gone. And now he's going to do it all over.
They're not bought in. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, even if everybody buys in for the rest, let's say they're all like, we'll write it out the rest of this season. We'll buy in, and we'll just, we'll buy into Ime's philosophy. And we'll try to do what we can this year. You got this year, and that's it. And this is what I've said from day one. They have one shot at this. And if it blows up in their face, they're screwed. And what happened?
Yeah.
It's blown up in their face. How long, if you're Joe Tsai, how long is it going to be before you just say, okay, enough is enough. It's time to blow this up? Because the problem is, the longer you wait and the worse that it gets, the less return you're going to get for Kevin Durant. Kyrie Irving's already gone. You're not going to get shit for Kyrie Irving. And the reports have already came out. There's not a single team in the league that wants to trade for him. Like, they're literally, ESPN released a report earlier today that they've talked to several executives and stuff like that in the league, whatever, take that as you may. But they said literally the Brooklyn Nets could give Kyrie away. And the only team that would probably take him is the Lakers. And the only reason the Lakers would do that is because of LeBron James. That's the only reason.
Well, now, is that because of the controversy, or why is that, though?
Because just everything. Just Kyrie Irving's just,
well, everything, it kind of comes with
controversy, his accountability.
Wants to show up when he wants to show up to practice.
Wants to show up when he wants to show up. Like, it's a combination of everything that, like, no teams want that headache that is Kyrie Irving. But the Lakers would take a chance on him because the hope is you have LeBron James, and LeBron James, he respects LeBron James. He respects Kobe. Right, like, so you're hoping that, like,
that's what I'm saying. A lot of that stuff is not going to fly in LA just because with the front office, and I'm not saying that like the Brooklyn front office is not
winning. Look, the fans in LA don't give a shit. Like, Kyrie could believe the world is triangle, and people don't give a shit. As long as you are winning basketball games for the Lakers, that's all that most Laker fans are going to care about. And even
at this point, but with Kyrie Irving right now, even he's in Brooklyn though, so you would think like people don't really, you know what I mean, but. Yeah, Brooklyn fans are just they're a little harsh, but they also they're passionate about media,
period.
They're passionate about their city too,
it is, and it's just so like they're in like he probably needs the Lakers more than anybody. Like, Kyrie Irving could probably, because one, it would be a fresh start, and not just that, but you got to keep in mind, like, if Kyrie got traded to the Lakers tomorrow, all of this shit would go away, all of it.
Do you think he's focused on winning championships?
No. I think he would. I think he will. If he can, he will. But I don't think that's like his biggest priority. But here's the thing: if he goes to the Lakers, it's not just him having to be the second guy. He has LeBron James and Anthony Davis, so they just need him to go there and just hoop. Like, just go be Kyrie Irving. Just go hoop.
Yeah, exactly. Just go
be a bucket getter.
Yeah, go be literally free range. Like, you don't have to necessarily be the captain of the offense. No. You don't have to like run plays.
Go get buckets.
Literally get on the court, work your magic. You can, just be Kyrie, smooth Kyrie like we know him to be. If he gets back to just basketball though, like, Like he's like one of the best at it. You know what I mean? I will say too, I don't think it's too late if they can keep these two intact for the remainder of the season. I don't think it's too late. I think but that's if Udoka comes and he can actually like formulate something. It doesn't have to be Udoka, but it has to be a good coach. I don't have somebody in mind at the moment, but it would have to be like almost like a veteran
But that's the problem.
coach
There's
that
no
can
one out
really
there.
like
Quinn,
and there's not.
Quinn Snyder isn't going to come and save them. You know, Ime Udoka, maybe, but he's going to need, like, here's the thing too, like people forget, like the Celtics were terrible in the first half of the season, and it took a while for Ime to figure it out and get it to work. Yeah. He's going to come in. It's going to take him time to figure it out because they don't have a training camp. They don't have anything. That's why
it's desperate right now. So it may not take him time. He may just be like, look, this might be my last chance to maybe coach like professional basketball.
If just they hire him, they're going to hire him for years. He'll be there. Like if they should have hired him because he already has a relationship there. He was the assistant coach before he got the head coaching job. So he already has a relationship there.
I feel like it's going to be on a short leash, though, too. And I feel like after coming off of that kind of stuff, I feel like he's just going to he feels like he has something to prove. So he might like come in with like a chip on his shoulder, like, I got to get this done.
Obviously, the Nets don't care. You know what I mean? Like, because if the Nets cared, they wouldn't have brought him in anyway. Like, his allegations weren't just light allegations. Like, his stuff is pretty bad based on, like, what is out there. Again, we don't know all the details. But we know enough to
just
where,
like, what we heard, I know, right?
Yeah, we know enough to know like people that were sticking up for him got the full story and went, sorry, he fucked up. You know, that's something.
I know. Even Stephen A was like, I mean, but I do understand like I do think the way that. How do you feel about like the way that the organization handled it? Just because like they reduced this. Yeah, I mean, not only did they reduce his pay, but they suspended him. So it's like you can't work. You know what I mean? He's kind of stuck. You know what I mean? It's a tough situation. But then again, we don't know all that happened. So that may be like, hey, that owner may have been being nice. Like, you know, we don't know.
From an organizational standpoint, they handled it perfectly. Because here's the thing, this never would have been
leaked, which is weird. Like this kind of stuff happens all the time, but it never leaks. So I was like, this is weird. You know, what I mean?
A couple things. One. So
it's because who it was involved. That's probably why.
Yeah, but also here's the thing: is that one, you had this completely under wraps. Like they had the original report, like then the bad stuff leaked. Even after the bad stuff leaked, like it just got kind of swept under the rug, right? The Celtics didn't mention it. They suspended him. They hid him and basically just locked him away in the highest room in the tallest tower, and just said, "Hey, you're gonna go sit there. You're gonna go wait." And we'll give it a year, and hopefully this all blows over. They handled it perfectly. Celtics come in, they start the season, boom, they're off to the races. They look good, they're winning games. Nobody cares. The only reason this came back up is because the Brooklyn Nets decided to go after Ime Udoka as their head coach. So now all of this is coming up again, and now the Celtics are going to have to deal with this again. The Nets are going to have to deal with this again. The Celtics want nothing more than just say, here, you want Ime? Take him. Please, because now they don't have to deal with it because then they could just. So from an organizational standpoint, they handled it perfectly because nobody knows all the details, so nobody can really talk about it. Nobody can come out and be like, "Oh, this is what happened." We just know that he did something really bad. Yeah, that's it. We don't know how bad. We don't know because what's the game?
Why do they just let him go though? If that's the case, why do they just let him go? Why keep him still attached to the organization?
Because then. There's the media storm and all that stuff. It keeps getting brought. The idea is you hide them away. A year passes, and hopefully all of this brushes over and people forget about it. Right?
Because do you think they still want him as the head coach just because they know that potentially
probably not
when he comes back?
Based on what the report said, he's not getting his job back after a year.
But the thing is, like, I just don't like. He took them to the finals, right? So like. Yeah. The possibility that he could literally get there again, it's hard because it's like it almost looked like the organization was like, just in case we decide to bring you back, the suspension for a year is like so we can like figure it out. You know what I mean? I don't know if they wanted to give up because he was an asset because like I think
it was more they just didn't want the word to get out because the problem is if you release him and you fire right away, That's all the conversation is going to be about. Ime Udoka is going to have interviews and stuff, and he's going to have to relay this. At this point, he can't
That's
say
true
anything.
too. And what point do you? Yeah.
And a year from now, it'll be completely irrelevant. They can tell whatever story they want a year from now because no one will know otherwise. Like, so you basically, it's like, avoid the problem until you can't anymore. And it's like, all right, well, if we avoid the problem will eventually go away. And then, and then you could make your decision or do whatever. Hopefully by then you find a coach, low key. And the hope is that the Celtics win, because if the Celtics are winning, then you have your inherent, like, we're just going to keep the intern as the head coach, right? Yeah. We're not even going to hire a new head coach. So you just basically let Ime Udoka leave. No one says anything. No one does anything. He's fired as if the Celtics are winning. Guess what? The Celtics are winning. Because the Celtics were basically betting on that they would still be good. And if they're still good, the Ime Udoka situation will completely go away in a year. And it would have. Problem is, the Brooklyn Nets
true, because if they're bad, that's true, because if they're bad, that's going to be the first thing they point to. They're going to be like, well, if we still had him as our head coach, but we don't have him as our head coach anymore.
But the Celtics are still good, and the Celtics are off to a good start this season, and
they're looking fire. Like,
exactly. And they haven't skipped a beat, so they don't have that conversation and that narrative around them right now. It's perfect. They're in a perfect. That's what I'm saying. From an organizational standpoint, they handled it beautifully. But speaking of Boston, they lost by 1 today to Cleveland. But that was a good game. That was a good back and forth game. But I was just trying to see if they won again today. But regardless, that's all it is. Like, they wanted it to be as quiet and private as possible, and take it from there. But I don't know. This whole situation is going to be interesting, because the whole situation with the Nets are going to have to make decisions sooner or later. And like I said, the longer they draw this out and the longer they kind of just keep adding on to this, the worse it's going to get and the harder it's going to get. Because, Kyrie Irving, you're already not getting anything for. So, why not just get rid of the Nets aren't going to turn it around in the next week or whatever. And by the time maybe they do, it's probably going to be too late. You have too many teams in the Eastern Conference that are really good this year, and so the Nets were already a play-in team last year. They're going to be a play-in team this year at the rate that they're going at best. Kevin Durant's going to want out, and it's just like, why do you want to deal with this drama again? Trade Kevin Durant while you can for a decent value, for a decent price, and then get rid of and trade Kyrie Irving. Be done with him, or just trade Kyrie Irving, be done with it, and just see if it improves your team. So many people talk about, getting rid of Russell Westbrook, addition by subtraction. Maybe the same thing happens for Kyrie. Maybe the Nets get rid of Kyrie and all the drama and all the controversy and all the headache, and everyone can just hoop, and maybe I was gonna say, turn it around.
As a teammate, is it that easy for you to just go on the court and ball, no matter what is going on with the star of your team? So much controversy. I feel like you carry some of that into the court.
Of course.
But my thing is, here's the thing with the problem with the Brooklyn Nets is that it works on paper. You look at it, you think Ben Simmons, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving. This should be a championship contending team. And I think if they could make all the extra stuff work, we have probably the Eastern Conference final champions if they can make it work. But that's just a big if at this point, just because of everything else that's going on. Especially if Kevin Durant's not bought in.
I agree with you. On paper, they might be the best team in the league, but the problem is they don't work. Ben Simmons is not the guy that they hoped he was, and he's had a year, almost 2 years to figure it out, and he hasn't. So, when's going to be his turning point? You have the whole Kyrie Irving situation. It's not like this isn't going to stop with Kyrie Irving. You know what I mean? Every year he has 3 or 4 of these moments. Every single year. And so it's not going to go away. So you're still going to have that headache. You're still going to have that problem. And the problem is the Brooklyn Nets do not have the structure in the organization to handle Kyrie Irving and that problem. The only reason the Lakers think they can make it work is because they have LeBron James who can navigate all that stuff. I don't have a problem with Kyrie on the Lakers while they have LeBron. My concern is after LeBron leaves. Like, how does the Kyrie, because at that point, we don't have the Kyrie whisperer anymore. Like right now, the Lakers probably are the only team that have the Kyrie whisperer or somebody that can keep Kyrie in line. You have Kyrie that's going to want to prove himself. He's going to want to show, the type of like player that he is and that he can win a championship. Not just that, but, his respect and love and obsession for Kobe Bryant. All of that stuff I think will play a factor. I think Kyrie will go to the Lakers and be a modeled citizen there's going to be some things. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying like he's going to say some stupid shit. But what I'm saying is that I don't think it'll be a huge problem like it is for the Nets because you have LeBron James and you have a Lakers organization. And as long as the Lakers are winning, which they should with Kyrie, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis, and a top 5 defense, they should win games. Then nobody's going to give a shit. Nobody's going to care. At least for the first year or two. And then when LeBron leaves, that's when I have that concern of now what's going to happen?
Well, we have the proof of concept because even in Cleveland, I don't remember, and I'm not going to say that there was none, but I don't remember this much controversy with when he was in Cleveland with LeBron, So I think you're right. I think it could work with LA, but right now, my thing is too. Here's the thing. I believe Kyrie, I think it's an attention thing. You know what I mean? But it's it's him and Kevin Durant. You know what I mean? Like they almost stir up these moments because they know it's gonna bring attention. You know what I mean? And it's weird to me. It's really weird because the timing of everything. I'm just you know what I mean? And not to mention he has a shoe dropping, so it's you know what I mean? And this was your idea of a rollout, let me get people talking, controversy. Very bad idea of a rollout.
It didn't go the way you had hoped.
But... No, because your stock will be dropping.
I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, I think it's going to be interesting. I don't necessarily think I think the likelihood of Kyrie going to the Lakers is really a matter of when, not if. I really do. I think I'm not saying it might not even happen this year, but I think Kyrie's gone. And the only team that's going to give him a chance is the Lakers. So I think that that's inevitable. And there are some benefits to go after Kyrie Irving if you're the Lakers this season rather than next season, because one, you get bird rights, you get more flexibility. You could re-sign him and extend him immediately. Not just that, you're not going to have to give him a max because where is he going to go? So if you're the Lakers and you get him now, you don't have to worry about it. You just be like, look, dude, we're going to give you $20 million. We're going to give you 4 years, $80 million. You're not going to get more than that anywhere else. If you think you are, good luck, and and just let it go and just do that immediately. You lock them up. You'd get Kyrie. You'd still have cap space. All that's you'd be good. So
well, how do you feel about the chemistry piece of it though? Because he's going with LeBron. He's playing, but what if we gel though? By the time we already kind of look like we're starting to come into our own. I get it, one win, but we'll talk about it. But I don't know though. Bringing Kyrie kind of in the middle of everything like that, and just it's weird. It's weird,
It is.
But he is a player that can, because of his I can't even say leadership ability, but because of his natural scoring ability, I think a lot of players just kind of follow suit to him just because of how good he is at scoring the basketball. Because he's not like I said, he's a leader on the court per se. That's what you have LeBron for, But. I would hope
it's not just about this year. That's the thing. If you're the Lakers, you're looking at it as one. You're not going to get Kyrie any cheaper than you would right now. You can make an argument the Lakers shouldn't have to give up any draft picks. We are saying you're in a more desperate situation than we are. But I think in reality they probably have to give up a first. So you probably work out a deal to give up a first for Kyrie Irving. You get Kyrie Irving. The thing is that you get Kyrie now because you're going to have him for the next several years. So you already implement it. You probably have your best chance to win this year with Kyrie. And even if you don't, you already have that chemistry built and all of the foundation built that you need to go into the following season. Where Russell Westbrook, even if he fits in seamlessly, let's say he continues to be that 18, 8-8 guy off the bench, he's phenomenal. The problem is that the Lakers probably still aren't going to re-sign him, and he's probably not going to want to come back. So if you're the Lakers, you're probably looking at it as yes, even if we're working, you probably still do the deal just because you're like, Westbrook's not going to be here beyond this year. We're probably at worst case just as good, with Kyrie this year as we are with a working sixth man Westbrook, right? Especially if you can do it with only one first, then you'd still have a first and like guys like Patrick Beverly to where you could go trade them and go get another guy or two if you need to. And you got LeBron James to kind of keep Kyrie Irving under wraps. Not just that, but you probably would have a rejuvenated Kyrie Irving. You probably have a Kyrie Irving that wants to prove something this year. Like, I was on the Nets. We were shit. Like everybody was talking all this mess about me, this, that, and the other. Now I'm on the Lakers and let's go. Let's go win a championship. I just think that there would be that motivated. I think LeBron would be more motivated now than he's been all year. I think Anthony Davis would be more motivated.
Well, yeah, it's the second best player on his team. Arguably, one of the best hoopers in the league.
I think the entire Lakers organization would be more motivated than it would be. And it's like, we got that proven score. And that's the problem is they don't have that consistent score, that consistent.
That I'm going to get you a bucket no matter what.
Outside of LeBron and Anthony Davis, it's been like, Walker or Russ, or in the one game that we won, everybody contributed. You had Walker with 18, you had Russ with 18.
Reeves was going off.
Reeves had 10. You had Troy Brown with 8. You had like 5 or 6 guys in double digits. So that helps, right? But you're probably not going to do that on a regular basis with the team you got right now. But with Kyrie, you do. Because now you got 3 guys that can give you 30 any given night. Pick your poison. So I just think
because of our roster, how would we attain Kyrie and how would we attain Kyrie and keep Russ? In what world can that happen?
We wouldn't be able to keep Russ and Kyrie.
Okay.
So yeah.
So not possible.
It's not. We'd have because we don't have any cap space. Like even if you worked out a 3-team deal, you somebody would have to absorb. Like usually the way 3-team deals work is like a team will absorb the salary. The problem is that Russell Westbrook is the biggest salary. And Kyrie Irving would be the second biggest salary in that. And the Lakers would be taking the biggest salary. So there's nothing to be absorbed. And the Lakers don't have enough small contract. Like, so if the Lakers have Patrick Beverly at like 13 million and Kendrick Nunn at like about 6 million, basically them together make about $18 million. Problem is you need, based on like the NBA 125% rule, you need to get, because Kyrie Irving's salary is 36 million, roughly 36 of change. You need to basically get to like 28 million in outgoing salary. And the Lakers don't have that outside of Russell Westbrook. Because even if you took all of your guys outside of Russ, LeBron, and Anthony Davis, it's still not 28 million in salary. Because you have Patrick, if they had like one more guy, like say Walker had let's say Walker had a $12 million salary, then yes, you could. Because you could do Walker, Beverly, and Kendrick Nunn for Kyrie Irving. Because that would get you, because they collectively they would have roughly like, or if like even if Walker had like a $10 million salary, it would be close. You could do those 3. Maybe you throw in like a Matt Ryan or something like that just to hit that 28 million, but they don't. So the only way to do it is to trade Russell Westbrook. Because I would love it. I would, especially if Russ continues to embrace the 6-man role.
Yeah.
Imagine if you had Russ backing up Kyrie and LeBron.
Dangerous team. Man, if I have, I swear, if I have to guard this,
you don't need anybody else at that point.
If I gotta guard the point guard position, like no matter who I am in the league, like let's say I'm like, I don't know, like Chris Paul, whatever. If I gotta guard Kyrie, then I gotta guard Russ after that, I'm like, no.
Yeah, you're screwed.
Yeah,
absolutely. But unfortunately, there's literally no way for it to happen. And that's the issue. So it's like
just not that caliber of guard. Like we could get a solid option, but it couldn't be like a Kyrie. It'd have to be like a
So I mean, like for example, like we could do almost any other trade but Kyrie and still keep Russ. So we could trade
or like a Clay. We couldn't do like a Clay or something.
No, basically, anybody that makes more than like 22 million a year, we wouldn't be able to trade for. So like say like
which is all the elite more elite style guards.
Yes, but yeah, so basically we wouldn't be able to get any elite guys without trading Russ, but we could get a bunch of like really good mid-tier guys. So like for example,
Bradley Beal. Actually, I don't know if we can get Bradley Beal.
No, so like for example, like the Spurs deal, right? Like we could get like Jakob Poeltl and Josh Richardson and not have to trade Russell Westbrook. Like the Hornets deal, like we could get like Terry Rozier for without having to give up Russell Westbrook, right? We could also
who I want? I would help our shooting so much. Patty Mills.
Patty, but like if we could get or Seth Curry, I would love to get that. Like, if the Lakers could do because here's the thing too, is that if the Lakers did the Kyrie deal, the Nets would have to give more than Kyrie because Russ makes more than the 125% that Kyrie's salary matches. So you can't do Kyrie for Russ straight up. There has to be another piece included. So the Lakers would likely get back somebody, like whether it's who I would like Royce O'Neal would be nice. Big 3-and-D style, like perfect, like he's a guy that we need desperately. But if we could get like Royce O'Neal and Kyrie Irving for like Russell Westbrook, awesome. Or like Seth Curry, like if we could figure out a way to get Seth
if you
Curry.
do that, if you're the Brooklyn Nets, you're going to lose KD. Well, you're losing KD probably regardless because he did, like you said, he doesn't want to be there. But there's no way on this beautiful earth that he's going to play it for us again. No.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
I mean,
I'd be surprised.
Well, not with him and just Russ as their primary decision as being the guys. Like if you replace Russ or if you replace Kyrie with Russ right now on the Brooklyn Nets, I don't think KD wants to put himself back in that situation. I don't know that. I think he respects Russ as a player, but I don't necessarily know that he thinks he can win a championship.
It might be the best thing for him. He's not winning a championship. Because he's not winning a championship right now with Kyrie anyway. And Kyrie is unreliable. Kyrie is the total opposite of Russell Westbrook. Like, at least Russell Westbrook, if you're Kevin Durant, you're looking at it as, I already know how to play with him. I'm still friends with him. I mean, they were hanging out in the offseason for Russ's
that little like debacle after they left. But that was
the whole thing. That was also part of like the spark of the Westbrook to the Nets trade. But like if you're Kevin Durant, you're looking at it as, I can rely on Russell Westbrook. He's going to show up and give 100% every game. He's gonna actually compete night in and night out. He's not going to bring all like the crazy drama that Kyrie will. I mean, he has his beefs with the media, but the way Kevin Durant's probably looking at it is like Russell Westbrook is everything that Kyrie Irving isn't, and at least at the worst case, I only got to play with him till this year's over, and then that's it, and then we could just let him go. Or
they're not going to try to like build like a dynasty or something. They're not going to.
They're not going to build around him anyway. But also that might give them an opportunity to trade Ben Simmons, because if you're the Brooklyn Nets, you could go, like KD, we got Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook can help you carry the load. Maybe we could trade Ben Simmons for something. If that doesn't work out, then you trade Kevin Durant, or however you want it. Like, it might not be the worst thing in the world. I don't think it would happen, but I don't know. Like I said, a lot of people think like, no way Kevin Durant would never want to play with Russell Westbrook ever again, blah, blah, blah. But what is his other options? And the Nets have already shown that they don't give a shit what Kevin Durant thinks. Like, because if they did, they would have traded him. If they did, they wouldn't have.
Yeah, I think they want to take the power away from the players. And he's not like he doesn't have that LeBron type pull. You know what I mean? Anywhere LeBron goes, he has that demand type. You know what I mean? Like, he can almost, to a certain extent, tell an organization what to do, who to hire, who he wants to be head coach.
LeBron James. Yeah, exactly. Every organization he's at.
That's why a lot of people call him the GM
because of it.
That's why people call him the GM because exactly. So but Kevin Durant's not him. He's just not that.
And here's the other thing too, is that Kevin Durant, you know that the Brooklyn Nets don't give a shit what Kevin Durant thinks, because Kevin Durant gave the Brooklyn Nets a demand list of everything he wanted, and the Brooklyn Nets didn't do one of those things. They said, too bad, you're stuck on the team, because Kevin Durant doesn't have any pull. He's on the team for the next 3 years after this year. They don't have to do anything. They don't have to trade him. What are you going to do? You're going to sit out and not play? Like, that was the whole thing. That was the bluff that they called last time. But the difference, I do think though, personally, I do think the Nets would trade him now. Like if it comes out, like if Kevin Durant makes another public, display and basically publicly says he wants out again, I think they'll trade him this time. I don't think that they're going to want to. I just don't think they're going to want to continue this because at some point you got to say, all right, enough is enough, and at some point you got to say like, all right, we need to do right because here's the thing too, is that you don't think other superstars are looking at this and going like, why would I ever go to Brooklyn? Look at what they're doing, look at what they're doing at Kevin Durant, like stuff like that. Like you don't want to set a bad precedent. You don't, and so that's the thing that they got to keep in mind too. And sooner or later, you got to imagine the Brooklyn Nets are going to get sick of it. And look, Brooklyn Nets did the same thing that every team in the league would have done. Every team in the league. There's not a single team in the world in this entire NBA that wouldn't have tried to get Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving on a team, and it didn't work out.
Exactly.
No one blames the Brooklyn Nets. Like if the Brooklyn Nets traded Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant this offseason, I don't think a single person would have cared. The conversation would have been like, damn, that was a failed experiment, but it wouldn't have been on the Brooklyn Nets. Nobody would have been like,
it's not like it doesn't work. It just doesn't work with this organization. That's the only issue. Yeah, they don't have the infrastructure in place to make these two work and put the correct pieces around them. I just don't. It's not like I said. It's not those two on a team. It's the organization. Yeah, I don't really.
It's an absolute mess, and I mean we'll see how it all plays out. Real quick, diving into it, moving on, and also before we skate on out of here. Well, here, let's say hi to some people in the chat real quick because I try to get to the chat at some point, or we try to get used to. What's going on, Austin? Appreciate you being here. What's going on, Speedy? What is up? Steve Nash getting fired was a good move, I think, but at the same time, he's barely coached this team at full strength, even back with Harden. I agree. I mean, he didn't get 100%. He didn't get a complete fair shake. Y'all do anything fun on Halloween? Yes, I had a pleasant time with the children. What about you, Jake? What did you do?
Not on Halloween, but a few nights before, my nephew's in my little neighborhood here, there was like a little like a trunk or treat. I almost forgot about it because it was so short, but pretty much it was just a few cars, and they had a little haunted house that they pretty much decorated. And they put little scary things around the corner. So
that's
cool. It was cool. They pimped it out though. They did.
Cool. The problem is both Durant aren't number one guys. I agree with that. When Russ realized that in OKC, Paul George took over and they played some of the best basketball. Yeah, I mean, look, Russ, when he made the sacrifice, especially with Harden, him and Harden worked towards the back half of the season. And it was when he kind of just let Harden be Harden. He's shown. And now look, he's making the sacrifices and we've been looking good. We got to be able to stop Zion though. Is the basketball round or flat? Depends on if you ask Kyrie or not. According to Kyrie, It's flat. Is it too late for the Nets sorry. If it's too late for the Nets, it's too late for the Lakers. I don't agree with that, and I'll tell you why in a second. The reason I say that it's not over yet is because it's a very long season. I agree it's a very long season. The difference is, I kind of touched on this earlier, the difference between the Nets and the Lakers have time, the Nets don't. Kyrie, they have this year, and that's it. And they have too many glaring holes and too many issues, and there's two superstars don't want to be there. We know LeBron James wants to be with the Lakers. We know that Anthony Davis wants to be with the Lakers. Hell, we know Russ deep down wants to be with the Lakers. He just doesn't want to be. He just doesn't want to be with the Lakers when they just don't want him, and the entire fan base wants to get rid of him. The problem is that
really quick, just on that last game. Russ knocked down a couple threes, which is amazing, but he's sitting there, he's thinking about it, and the fans are like, no, but then he was like, no, yes.
Hey, he shot 50% from three last game.
But not to mention us as a team, what were we shooting almost 40%?
We shot 43%.
I know, and I was like, let's go.
Which is really good. They do have LeBron Gardens on. I want to talk about this.
That play where Russ did that little in between the legs.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness! And he put Murray on skates, and I was like, ah!
Good defense.
Great stuff. Great stuff.
I LOL'd at Durant saying, when you get guarded by the whole team, you have lots of turnovers, basically throwing his team under the bus. Look, yeah, facts. I haven't, Little Giant, taught you anything one time. I guess when you're right, you're right. Why does the media hate Kyrie so much?
How much time do you have for us to explain?
That's there's a lot. It's just Kyrie's never really had a good relationship with the media. The media doesn't like some of the good time. The media doesn't like some of the stuff that Kyrie says, and they like to go at him. Look, I stuck up for Kyrie in the last thing when that reporter was going at him the way he was going at him. I just thought that was uncalled for. Like, you know what I mean? Like, ask your question. Kyrie answered your question. Move on. You know, like, be done. Like, but to keep trying to get a reaction and trying to, get
break it down. I don't remember this one. What happened?
It happened the other day. Basically, Kyrie was after a post game. Nets lost. And like they were talking, and they brought up, one of the reporters brought up like the whole anti-Semitism movie and book and stuff, and like Kyrie, and they like tried to compare it that he was like tried to like say he was supporting Alex Jones or something like that. Kyrie was like, I don't support Alex Jones. Like it was like this whole thing. And then he asked, like, why are you promoting it? And he was like, I'm not promoting it. I posted about it. Like, did I tell anybody to go buy the book? Did I tell anybody anything? Like, just because I have followers, like you post stuff, we all have followers, social media, basically. And the reporter just wouldn't let it go and just kept trying to go. And Kyrie's like, dude, I answered your question. Move on. It's like, you're not answering the question. He's like, you're not answering the question. And they were having this like back. It was ridiculous. It was just something that was completely unnecessary. But yeah, because everyone loves a villain. That's true. Everyone does. Everyone loves the villain. Someone asked why the media hates Kyrie so much. Don't know. I can't stand him because he's toxic. That's basically what boils down to why. Good take. To why the media doesn't like him either. I'd still prefer AI over Kyrie just for the dog mentality. Man, I'd love AI. AI was. Man.
Oh yeah. That's not even a question. Yeah.
The problem is that if they
I think Kyrie's a better scorer, but AI, the mentality for AI is there. I feel like AI had more of that Kobe mentality versus
the dog mentality.
Yeah.
Dude, like Kobe said it best. If AI was 6'6", the entire league would be in trouble. AI probably would have been the best player ever if he was like 6'6". But
I love watching those two go at it too. Oh my god, yeah, they were at it in those playoff runs. Yeah. Kobe was guarding him like a freaking monster.
Problem, Austin, is they might not even make the playoffs at the rate they're going. Like, and I know that sounds insane and it's early, but seriously, they're bad, man. Like they have a lot of problems, and it's not just Kyrie and Katie. I don't think he has any more fired than he quit. Nash worth $100 million. Don't need money or aggravation. I'd haul his ass too, dude. That's why I was saying earlier. Nash ain't upset that he, it was a mutual thing, they said, and it probably was. Nash was probably doing somersaults.
Do you think he wants to coach again, or do you think he's done? Maybe he might go into commentary?
No, I can see him coaching again. I could definitely see him coaching. I just think.
Hey, let's go, Russ.
Like I said, I think very likely he. Come on, make the layups, Pat Bev. I think very likely he ends up being an assistant first. Little side note real quick, because Russ just had a great defensive stop on Zion right there. Russ is number 14 overall in the league in defense. Do you know he's number 2 amongst point guards? Russ is playing. Wow. Yeah, that means there's only 13
that's why I don't like. I get we have a top 5 defense in the league, but like my thing is I don't want to lose him. Like let's say we do lose him for like Kyrie or whatever. Like our defense will drop. Will it drop tremendously? No, but it will drop. That's why I don't want to lose Russ.
I do. I agree. I mean, Kyrie. Russ has played phenomenal defense. Celtics didn't fire him because they didn't want to get sued. We'll never know what happens, but it wasn't as bad as portrayed. Just wrong participants. Look, I don't know. I mean, look, Matt Barnes gave us a lot. Like, and look, we don't know all the details. Matt Barnes was one of the first people to come out and like just ridicule everyone for going after Ime Udoka and all that stuff. And then Matt Barnes, Raymond, I highly recommend go look up the Matt Barnes talking about Ime Udoka. He's in his car. He's talking about it. And the things that he says, he's like, I can't tell you all the details, but he's like, if you knew the details, you'd understand that it's bad. And I cannot condone, like he completely changed his tune. This is a guy that like literally was willing to go to war for Ime Udoka, was cussing people out on Twitter, saying, you don't know the details, you don't know the situation, shut your mouth, you don't know all the ins and outs, blah, 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 blah. And like literally like 12 hours later, he was like, yeah, I'm so sorry. I was completely wrong. Like did an entire apology video over the situation and basically said like it was bad. And like, I don't know. I mean, it was bad. And I look, if he really did sexually harass and sexually assault somebody and they have proof, because that's the whole thing, that they have proof. Ime Udoka wouldn't have been able to sue him even if he wanted to.
You know, well, quick conspiracy theory. I think that because of everybody's reaction, I think that there might be, just off the top of my head, and I don't even know if, again, just speculation, but I have a strange feeling that there might have been a pregnancy involved. I don't know, but I just, because of everybody's reaction, I wouldn't be surprised if there was that.
I mean, apparently it was pretty bad. Like, so, based on everything that came out, one, like, so it originally came out that he had a mutual relationship with a woman, which was fine. And like, that's why so many people came to his defense. Like, why is he being suspended? Why is this? Why is that? Right. And like, I even said, like, let's wait till we get the details. They suspended him for a reason. I was like, maybe they did suspend him because he was having a relationship, even though it's mutual. Almost every job, whether you work at McDonald's or you're the head coach of an organization, they tell you no fraternization, no being in a relationship. It's just how it works, right? You're not supposed to.
Well, yeah, and with the sports, it's very strict, especially with the NBA. It's very strict.
Especially when you're somebody of power, right? Prestige. Mm-hmm. But even beyond that, like after that, we get the reports that he had, harassed several women, and that it was like a big thing, and like one of them was like another man's wife, and that it was just like all these reports kept coming out of like, no, this is worse than what you think. Like this was like unwarranted. Like he was just being a dirty dog essentially. And then the conversation came. We still don't know all the details, but
I don't know if this is going to turn into like a Bill Cosby situation, so we're like,
I don't think it'll be that. I mean, he was drug. I don't think he was drugging people, but I think. But I don't think it was that bad. Because I mean, he'd probably be sitting in jail if that was.
Well, yeah.
Exactly. Apparently, he was just it was just harassment. Let's see. Wait till Kyrie finds out LeBron isn't a real king. That's the real problem, right? He's just all upset. What would a potential trade package look like if we decided not to keep Kyrie, and who would be included in the trade to both teams?
To keep Kyrie or Russ? I think you meant to.
Yeah, Rich. Did you mean Kyrie or Russ? Because
maybe you meant Russ.
Yeah, so there's no way we could trade for Kyrie Irving without trading Russell Westbrook. We don't have the salaries to make it work, and because we'd be taking on like the bulk of the salary, there's nothing being absorbed, so we wouldn't be able to move off of it. So there's no way for us to. We'd have to trade Russell Westbrook. What's going on, SM? Salute. Appreciate you. Zion is better than Anthony Davis. I don't think so. I mean, Zion's great, but Zion's very limited. He's just pure athleticism and strength.
I will say this, though. I would agree with him on, yes, he is on the fundamentals. Well, yeah, aggression, fundamentals. Like, he could get you a bucket. And like you said, he's more athletic. Now, if he was AD size, I think we would have a strong conversation here. Right now, truthfully, I think that they balance each other out. I think AD, because of his size, he has some things that Zion can't really do and some situations that Zion can't really score. But because of Zion's athleticism, he kind of can get a bucket, too. So I think, to be honest with you, I have them equal. I wouldn't say that Zion is better. I think he potentially can be, give him a couple years, but
Zion has a lot of potential. I'll give it that. But I mean, just from an overall standpoint.
Because what is Zion, like Draymond Green size about?
Something, he's like 6'8", 6'9".
So he's like your smaller, center, aggressive.
He's just pure athleticism and strength right now.
If AD was that strong and athletic, AD would be very scary.
Yeah, he needs to learn how to shoot, control himself, control the game. Multiple sources confirm Celtics female staffer affair with Celtics coach Ime Udoka was uncovered by her husband, and when he overheard a private conversation on a home doorbell camera. Service manager was messing with another man's wife. She was a team service manager at the Celtics. And also like he had like the girl like doing errands and stuff for like him and his wife, especially even Nia Long. Like it was bad. Like he was like she was like his own personal like assistant. It was a mess. Zion has more potential at this point in their careers. I think so too. Yeah. Zion's upside could be potentially insane. But real quick before we get on out of here, let's run through this game real quick. So first off, do you think we get a W?
Yes, I think we'll pull away. I think we will.
Okay.
I think we will.
Do you think Russ has another big game? Another, or at least impact game. I'm not saying he has to have like a 30, 10-10 game, but like
later on, because I really like what we saw from him last game. I think later on, keep him on the bench, keep him 6-man, but later on in those crucial moments, he can make some big plays. Did you see that block? Oh my goodness, beautiful. And from the last game, but like it's stuff like that, you know what I mean? It's stuff like that I'm just like, yeah, that's what we need from Russ. And I think
Russ got that charge. I thought they called offensive foul, but they didn't.
I will say too. I think my favorite play from the last game is when Russ tossed the ball to Reeves. Russ was like running out of bounds. He threw it to Reeves, and Reeves was like, and one, and he like did some kind of like I was like,
up and under.
I got so hyped. I was like, yeah, that was crazy.
I do. Big L on the board tonight. I don't know. I think the Lakers are gonna get it done.
Nah,
I do.
Yeah, I think
Lakers are gonna get a W. Look, speaking of,
they were celebrating in the locker room after they were going crazy. They were like after their first win.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, that's normal though. Look at that, up and under and one. Let's go, Reeves. I think it's. Sorry, I don't think. I know it's very common. Because it's his first win as a head coach. Like they always do. They always celebrate. Because I had people even in my conversation like, what did you think of the Lakers celebrating like they just won Game 7 of the finals? And I'm like, that's every team does that for their head coach's first win. Frank, they did that even for Frank Vogel, like when they got their first win. Like it's tradition. It's what you do.
Well, I don't think this is as fair. As for when I first saw it, I will admit I was like, I understand it, but I don't think this is fair. I saw like a meme where somebody was like, Kobe wouldn't be celebrating 1 in 5 or whatever. And I was like, as much as I understand that, it's not fair. There's a lot of things in play here. Like you said, it's his first win as a head coach.
Because people don't understand that. See, they just see that we got to win, and they think that we're celebrating because we finally won a game. It's not what it was. What I'm saying. They weren't celebrating because they won. They celebrated because Darvin Ham won. Like that's the difference. That's the context. People don't take things into context, and that's the problem. But yeah. Anyway, so any last little words before we skate on out of here? Any last little things you want to say to the audience?
No, I think that I think we found a good formula. Unless we just have something that we just need to take, let's keep our team and let's get some more W's. Honestly, I'm after seeing that last game, I tell you, I got so hyped. Like I get it, it's one win, but like just seeing certain plays in there, like you can't help but just smile. And like I'm just like, yeah. LeBron shooting threes off of one leg, and so I'm just like, yeah, this is like classic like Laker basketball. And I was like, yeah.
Anyway, thank you all so very much for hanging out with us. We really appreciate it. Anybody that is here, again, don't forget to like the video. It really helps us out a lot. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. You guys are all beautiful people. We appreciate you. Hopefully we